Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Saturday morning, guys. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I got a word for you. Tap in. So, guys, I pulled a random email, and someone wanted me to address dating after being healed slash dating with purpose. So I'm going to elaborate on that. They wanted me to give my opinion slash opinion, all caps opinion. And if you guys have anything you would like to add in, please feel free to do so in the comment section. So let's jump in. All right. So here's the thing. First thing first, a lot of individuals don't even know that they need healing. Remember, when you're conditioned to be a certain way, again, this can be maybe your father was in the household. Even if he just wasn't there emotionally for you. And the list can goes on and on and on why a parent, not just a father, but a mother as well. But we're talking about dads right now. So in saying that, you were conditioned early on to live a certain way, to pretty much be in fight or flight, right? Survivor mode. But you don't even know that's wrong. You don't know that's wrong. So as God take you higher, he start to expose you to more things. And then you start to realize like, wow, there are healthy marriages. Like there are fruitful relationships. There are healthy relationships. There are people who don't cheat in relationships. There are people who are not being abused in all sorts of ways in relationships. So again, sometimes you don't even know that you have this mask and this facade on because it's not intentional. So once God starts to expose you to better, right? You have to want it. You have to want it. But the thing about it is, most people refuse things again because wanting something or wanting better is not easy. So we assume just because, again, God exposes us to something or gives us a certain download about promises that he has for us, we just assume that it's just given to us and we don't have to do any work. Well, if you're exposed now to a healthy, wholesome, fruit-building relationship or marriage, your old ways are still there. Your defensiveness, right? Your mouth, all these other stuff is still there. Things that you learn from watching your parents or lack of, right? So just because you've been exposed to the better, you haven't been prepared for the better. So this is why, again, a lot of times people will be thrown into isolation season / single season, and they hate it because it feels like torture. It feels like God is stripping them from their love or stripping them from their comfort zone. And truth of the matter is, it's about you. It's about snatching you from what you were conditioned to be sure in this isolation season that you are exposed to the ways that you didn't even know you had built up. And then you're processed, and then you're healed. So now, after all that, which is a process, right? After all of that, then you're able to receive properly the individuals who God have ordained for your life. That's even friendships, right? That's friendships, that's romantic relationships, that's whoever, right? So all of the old toxic friendship ways, and it doesn't have to always be a bad relationship, just things that weren't, bearing fruit, like just useless almost, then a lot of that stuff will be discarded, and then you will be able to attract what's really for you. All right, so now you're healed. After your process, I stress process because I laugh sometimes, and I don't mean to laugh, but sometimes when I read some of your emails and you're like, I'm just sick of this. I've been in isolation season. I've been in single season now for 6 months. And I'm just like, sis? I mean, there's no specific time, we all have a different journey. But personally, I mean, personally, I have never met anyone or heard anyone say that they were completely healed from a lifetime, sometimes 20, 30, 40 plus years, a lifetime of conditioning in a trauma situation, and that they're healed in 6 months or even less. And now they're boom. They're healed and ready to be thrown out to the world, right? If I'm honest, and this is not to discourage anyone, because again, everybody's situation is different. So it could be 6 months for you. It can be 2 months for you. Who knows, right? There's a lot of different factors involved. Are you fighting against the process? Because Lord knows I fought. Listen, I fought, honey, right? And you're fighting against the process, but it's not intentional because you don't know what God is doing. You just feel like, again, fight or flight. So you're going to do both because you're being stripped out of your comfort zone, right? All of those barriers are being removed that you put up in order to safeguard yourself. So all these things are being stripped from you. But in your mind, it's punishment. It's an attack. It's storms, all this stuff. Because it feels like it. But in reality, it's just that God is removing all of your comfort zone, all of the people, right? Why does he have to remove all of your safety guards? Because when you go on your isolation in season, your isolation or single season or healing season, how can the things that he's trying to the healthy things he's downloading into your spirit get to you if you still have all these guards up that you placed around yourself in those toxic environments? You're too guarded. So in order for God to get certain downloads, you have to be raw. And when I say raw, it does not feel good. You're vulnerable, you're raw, it does not feel good unless you're a person who is used to being vulnerable. And that's not a lot of people. That's not a lot of people, right? Most people got some type of brick wall up for whatever reason. That past hurt, that divorce, that molestation, that this, that. People have guards up around them to protect themselves. It's almost natural. So those walls and those bricks have to come down in order for your downloads and your healing to take place. You will be stripped, but it's for your benefit. So don't fight against it because that's going to be natural. Don't fight against it. Submit to whatever he's doing. It won't even make sense, but just trust me. Please trust me there. Please don't be out here fighting like I did for years. And that probably is why sometimes the process takes years again, because we're fighting against it. All right. So now you're healed. All right. You're healed and now you're ready to date, right? God have said you're healed, but you think you're ready to date, right? That's how you feel. Now, I know I'm very unique, and I know some of you stand in agreement with me when I say that I'm not the person who have to be in a relationship, have to be married, right? Have to have a man. All those things are wonderful, especially when it's the right one, right? So my point is, once you are healed, you should have that same mindset. Because see, once you are healed, you're now whole. Prior to being healed, you feel like you need a man or a woman to make you whole. It's almost like you assume two broken people would make a whole. And I guess in tangible things it would, but that's not the case. Two broken people will keep each other broken. Point blank period. Two whole people will equal, I guess, a whole individual or two whole individuals, whatever. So my point is, once you're healed, you wouldn't even feel like you need a man, a relationship, a woman, whatever. However, because you are now properly aligned, the things that are for you, the people that are for you, friends, kingdom partners, relationship, marriages, whatever, the people who are ordained for your life and your destiny will all find you now. It's an alignment. They couldn't find you at first because you were too guarded. You had too many guards around you. So if someone was to even walk up, and they can't get to your spirit because you're too guarded. So once you're healed, you're whole, and so now you should be walking in purpose, because most likely that's some downloads that you also got in that isolation season. What God needs you to do, the direction, all that stuff. So you already got a lot of those downloads anyway. So now you should be working on your purpose, your calling, all that stuff. Of course, your goals and your personal goals, things like that. So that way you're not even so focused so much on where is he, where is he, where is she, where is she. You're busy, you're doing your thing. But once you get planted there, then God may say, okay, well, God may say, okay, I want to now bring somebody to you because I believe you're aligned in your purpose and your calling. They're aligned in theirs. Now, these two things come together, boom, more people can be reached, right? And of course, you get the benefits from with love and all the other physical stuff with it. But ultimately, ultimately, it's about kingdom work and reaching more people. See, if your person, your kingdom partner, spouse, whatever you're looking for, whatever you're seeking or waiting on, right? If they're already whole and they're already walking in their purpose and their calling, why would God send them to you now, or prior to healing, I should say? You're only going to damage them. That mission will be aborted before it can even take off. So you got to be healed first. Now, in the process of dating, here's what's going to happen. May happen for you. First of all, your pool is going to be way, way small. If you think there's a man shortage now, wait till you're healed and you already know there's a certain type of man that is ordained for your life. If you think the pool is small now, then you just wait. But it's okay. Because remember, you don't need a man or a woman. For some of my guys who are listening, some of my guys like to email me like, you don't never say anything for the guys. Guys, you know I got love for you too, right? But I'm a woman, so sometimes naturally when I make my recordings, it's geared more to women. But in my personal life, I am more geared called to men. But guys, you are just as included. So when I say men too many times, please just plug in women. From what you said, that you said you're already healed and you're ready to start dating, or you've been asked on a date and should you attend a date. Now listen, I'm one of these people like this. Dating is dating, point blank period, right? If we haven't sat down and made some type of commitment, which is fine, you don't want to look for that or force that either. The point I'm trying to make is sometimes you can date someone and this person could then develop a liking towards you. And then they assume just because you're dating, you're not exclusive. No. I can date 25 people when I leave you today if we haven't already had that type of agreement. So be careful that if you're just now starting to date again, right, after being healed, keep in mind, dating is just dating. Like, because sometimes with women, some women, they can start dating several people and then maybe develop a liking for one. And it's almost like they want to already create this scenario and this narrative in their mind. Like, okay, he's the one and I'm just going to not answer the phone calls for the others. Honey, you better answer that phone. You better answer that phone because you don't even know which one of those individuals could be the one. You're creating the narrative. He haven't created that narrative yet. And if he's attempting to create that narrative, then some things need to be locked in place. At least a conversation, a meeting of the minds, right? So we can discuss what we're doing here. That way, I know which direction we're going. But until then, you're free to date whoever you want to date. Right? Because females like to be limited. You can have 15 potential on your neck and you're, not answering the other one's call because one got your attention more. Well, the one that has your attention more, what happens if he decides, he meets someone else next week? You already let the other 14 go. So keep it open. I mean, you're not like doing any, well, I don't know what you're doing. Dating is dating, right? I'm talking about dating now. I'm talking about going out, meeting for, having dinner, I don't know if you have cocktails, whatever. Don't judge me up over here. Okay. Dating, dinner, cocktails, shooting pool. I love shooting pool. Movies, walks on the park, hiking, whatever. Dating is dating. All right. So now you went past your dating process and now you've met that one and he feels the same and you guys decide to have this conversation, meeting of the minds. Okay, let's both be exclusive. We can now let the other ones fall to the wayside. This relationship will not be as easy as you think. As beautiful as it is, as ordained as it is, remember, you're going to have to be intentional. Because remember, you're conditioned with your default setting. Yes, you've been healed, all that stuff. But it's almost like some of those things will rear its head again. The things that kept you protected, your protective guards, it will rear their head again. Because mind you, an individual who is ordained for your life is iron sharpening iron. Whichever way you look at it, it is iron sharpening iron. So when that happens a lot of the times, then you will feel like, wait a minute, I feel like I'm being attacked. And it's really not even being attacked, right? But iron sharpening iron, a lot of times for women, because we are so sensitive and we are so emotional, it feels like an attack. And then what happens? So we're not careful and intentional about staying in the spirit. We go right back to flesh. And then those protective guards come up, boom, up. I don't like you. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. I'm not answering my phone for 3 days because you said this. And it had nothing to do with any of the thing you're thinking, right? So it's about intentionality, about remembering that a lot of times you're going to have to be intentional about tapping back into the spirit. If not, you're going to be seeing things in your old fleshly conditioning default settings. This person is not going to tolerate your nonsense. They're not going to tolerate your nonsense and your messiness and your foolishness that came from your default settings and your conditional settings. But because this person is ordained, they will have more grace to deal with you and your nonsense, right? Not deal with it as an accept it, but don't run off so quickly as someone else in the flesh would. So it's deep. It's deep because, again, it's about you, but it's really not about you. It's about God making sure he has the proper people aligned for kingdom purposes and, of course, being a blessing to others on this earth. But in the meantime, he has to transform you to be able to receive that. Because, again, when you come from trauma and things like that, we don't even know how to receive healthy love. We can give it all day long. Right? We can love you all day long, pour into you all day long. But when it comes down to receiving it, if you're not fully healed, you're going to think that person's telling you this and telling you that because they want something. Girl, you're fine. What do you want? What do you want? Because my ex said the same thing, and he said the same thing, and then he cheated 6 months later, even though I was fine. So are you going to do the same thing? Nobody dealing with that toxic nonsense. Nobody is dealing with that toxic nonsense. So, sis, I encourage you on this dating process. I'm happy for you. Truly, I am. But again, please keep in mind, excuse me, that The individuals who will be in the pool that you're now tapping into will not look like, well, I won't say look like, I don't know that, but they won't act like, and they will not be similar to the pool you were exposed to prior to being healed. And if you're not careful, you will kind of see it sometimes as, he's boring, or he's not as, right? Because you're used to that stuff. But remember, you're healed now. So now this person will match your healed energy. Prior, the individual matched your toxic energy. You probably had soul ties and all that other stuff tied up with that person. So it's like you're just, now you want to compare, never mind. I was going to say men have it real bad at that. Almost like wanting to compare a new girl to a woman that they maybe were really in love with in the past and it didn't work out, right? But that wouldn't be fair. I guess women do that as well. Some men, some women. So just keep in mind that when you find yourself in the flesh starting to say, this is different, I'm not used to that, he's boring, he's too quiet, he's this, he doesn't fuss, he just ignores me. First of all, he doesn't fuss, he just ignores me. And a lot of times this is going to happen with healed men or men who have never I think we all have had some type of level of trauma, but all that fussing back and forth and all that stuff, honey, listen, he going to turn that game on and ignore you. And you're going to be in there raising hell because he won't fuss back at you. Kizzy, get back on topic. All right, so be intentional while you're sitting there and you're having these thoughts like, this is not what I'm used to. Keep reminding yourself about what you went through in that transformation season and how hard it was for you. So now you deserve this. You deserve it. Keep in mind during this time, 1,000 of your exes will be calling you back. Satan will have them calling you. Satan will have them flying kites over your house. Your friends will be calling you like, hey, I saw such and such. I saw Dante girl at the corner store. Right? All this other nonsense is going to be distractions. Because Satan already know that you're struggling about being in a healed, healthy place in relationship. He's going to send all this foolishness back to you. So you're going to have to be intentional about moving forward on your journey. A lot of people miss it here. They go right back to the nonsense and develop a new soul tie with something they already released, and child, the saga continues. So be firm on avoiding temptation, cutting that stuff off. Be intentional about not running. So when it feels too healed, when it feels like I'm too raw, this is weird, he's checking on me, be intentional about tapping into the spirit. Don't run. Sit in it, as uncomfortable as it is. The more you sit into it, it will feel more natural. This is the time when women feel like it's more easier to submit. I know some of y'all just gasp. I get it, ladies. Again, submit is different. Different definitions for different people. That doesn't mean you sit. Well, we're going to talk about that. Sit or just chill. And it feels weird to just chill because you're used to controlling the narrative because of the trauma. Well, remember, God sent this person out. You chose prior. That's why you didn't feel safe, because you chose based on a bunch of fleshly things. But now that God has sent a person that is literally ordained for your life and for y'all to take over the world together, it will feel almost natural to take the back seat. Not at the beginning. Not at the beginning, but the more and more you be intentional about sitting into it, and this person has proven themselves without you even asking, it's natural. You know, I saw a guy talking last night about this topic. I think it was on TikTok, and he was so right. Most women, I'm not saying all, most women do not want to be masculine 24 hours a day. It's just natural. When she don't feel safe, when she don't feel protected, when she don't feel like he can lead properly, she will lead. Point blank period. Especially when it's if she's had trauma, things like that. But when the man, all caps, man, have proven himself and allow you to feel safe, and you see like, okay, this man here really know where he's going at. Child, you will be happy to kick them heels off and sit up on this chair and just, whew, finally, I can just relax. So, I ask, how bad do you want it? Congrats, sis. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.